going to change my teeth or get a nose job. That manufactured perfection does nothing for me. In this fallen world, I suspect we will never achieve perfection, but that won't stop me trying. Like the rest of the genetic lottery, beauty is unfair. Everyone falls short of perfection, but some are luckier than others. Real confidence requires self-knowledge, which includes recognizing one's shortcomings as well as one's strengths. I use a lot of different words for God: infinite intelligence, primordial, perfection, or universal creativity. All of these to me are God, and God is a word I think that some people feel uncomfortable with, so they use another word. It's the great mystery. Art teaches you the philosophy of life, and if you can't learn it from art, you can't learn it at all. It shows you that there is no perfection. There is light and there is shadow. Everything is in half tint. One of the causes of modern despair is the fact that we have proposed to us from various quarters an impossible perfection. In all of our society, but especially in Hollywood, there is an obsession with perfection that can lead to self-loathing and neurosis and all that kind of stuff. If you think you've already made it, that's when you can fall short and go backwards. I'm constantly pushing forward and chasing the element of perfection. I'm not trying to achieve perfection. I don't like this forced control people have over work. I believe that the ideal character in its perfection is potentially in every man who is born into the world. We dwell in the house of the body, but its perfection and intricate life are the work of a wisdom which never relaxes dominion over a single cell. What I've learned is you don't have to strive for perfection, but you do have to strive to be a very hard worker. Perfection is worth striving for, even if it is ultimately unattainable in this life. I like the ideology of there being no such thing as perfection, but I'm of the opinion that I have witnessed perfection at various times, especially in art. I don't think perfection is possible. I think you can attempt to reach perfection, but I don't think it's a possible thing. I think perfection is a moving point and we spend our artistic lives chasing it. I don't like the word perfectionist because it's self-flattering. It's tooting your own horn and implies that you can actually achieve perfection. I prefer particularist. On this planet, there is no perfection. If you chose to end a relationship because of one mistake, you're going to be alone. I always say, perfection is the flaw. It doesn't exist. I saw something somewhere about porcelain paws. You're not even allowed to have paws anymore. People ask me what the definition of perfection. I said it's none. There is no definition of perfection. There's a huge part of me that's thinking about perfection. I have to fight that urge to try to live in the moment, reach for something that I might be hearing and not second-guess myself. I feel to look for perfection is a very dangerous path. More than that, it's dangerous because it doesn't exist. You can aim for it, but you already know you won't get there because it doesn't exist. Plus, I definitely think the flaws, the little cracks and accidents, are a lot more interesting. Every night that I put my head on the pillow, I go to sleep knowing that I can do more. I'm working toward perfection. I'm trying to be the best ever. In my work, I think what drives me is perfection. I'm a chronically unsatisfied guy. I'm trying to be more organised, put together, and be more kind to myself. I'm really hard on myself and really just self-critical and always striving for this perfection which doesn't exist. That's really, truly what my message is. Finding self-love within yourself and not comparing yourself to others, because there's no such thing as perfection, because perfection doesn't exist. Perfection to me means you spend much too much time trying to be perfect. Chasing perfection can make you go mad. I welcome comments. I think criticism can be very constructive and can help further. There's no perfect perfection anywhere. There's no perfect picture. I always say we're chasing perfection in an imperfect game. Every person is flawed. Do you think perfection exists? You, me, everyone. We have strengths and shortcomings. That's what makes us human. You'll never really reach perfection, but the strive for it, I love it. The world is becoming very black and white. People are striving for perfection where only the best is acceptable. If we continue down this road, then we'll lose everything that is human. I have been very hard on myself and strived for unrealistic goals of perfection. There's the saying that perfect is the enemy of great, because if you strive for perfection, you'll maybe never ship. There's a point that's good enough, but I do think that there's so much competition out there that if you don't hit the quality bar, the product will just fail. Perfection is our enemy, not because we don't want perfect candidates, but because perfect candidates don't exist. I think people could get obsessed with the idea of perfection. So, with that, you kind of stray away from your raw imperfections. Like, I don't think people realise that people are okay with you missing a note here or hearing the rasp in your voice. Life is a moving, breathing thing. We have to be willing to constantly evolve. Perfection is constant transformation. To feel much for others and little for ourselves, to restrain our selfishness and exercise our benevolent affections, constitute the perfection of human nature. Discretion is the perfection of reason and a guide to us in all the duties of life. I tend to get caught up in striving for perfection and not so much the accepting excellence part.